fellow Fumblers, and welcome to another episode of the Film Fumblers podcast. Today, we are going to be reviewing Mulan, the remake released in 2020 and directed by Niki, Caro. So, without further ado, my name's Adrian.
I'm Jay.
I'm Taryn.
Hey, it's James.
What? What the fuck? Man, it's been 1 week since we've been off, and all of us are like, "Whoo, we need to take less time off, boys. We're gonna take this fucking. Let's take the shot."
Yeah.
James has been a quitter tonight.
I'm a quitter. I'm
And,
taking one in spirit.
Alright.
Cheers.
Cheers. Shoot 'em back, boys.
Oh man, I had a shot in a.
Oh, I honestly really felt like you were gonna be like, "All right, boys, let's get down to business
Oh,
and take these shots."
my god!
Start it over, dude.
Adrian. Okay.
Oh,
just
you know what? I
restart.
can't say that, and that brings us right into everything. I can't say that because so much stripped away. I mean, obviously, it's live action. There was a tiny hint of the music reflection in it.
Yeah.
But that was it. I mean, I feel like the story like completely changed too. I don't know.
Did
Yeah.
anybody watch the original before
Yes.
this episode?
Yes.
In
sir.
1998, I did. Yes. No, not.
In
So
1998.
In the last week.
you
Yeah.
guys, okay? So James and Taryn watched this recently. The original recently.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Way
watched
better,
it
right?
back to back. Watched
Oh,
the
wow.
new one,
Wow.
and then watched the
Yeah.
old one, and it was just jarringly jarring. To say the
Jarringly
least.
jarring.
I agree.
I was
Yeah.
gonna do that, but I have a life, so I didn't.
Oh,
Okay.
excuse me.
I'm just kidding. No, I really wanted to. I really wanted to.
I wanted
Um,
to too, but
It's a short movie. I was like, fuck it. Pop
Yeah,
it on.
okay. So
How
yeah,
long is it? How long
it's
is
an
the
hour
original?
and a half for the original, and this one's nearing 2 hours.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And it is so fucking jarring how you add 30 minutes and then take so much away. Like, dude, it's
Interesting.
just insane how 1.5 hours does so much for character development and everything in this movie. Just like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
Has
I
like
have
negative
not-
character development. God damn.
Yeah.
I have not seen the original in literal years, but I remember as I was watching this movie and stuff started happening, like Mulan finally reveals her true gender. I was just like, wait, this is already happening? Like it feels like I haven't felt her develop as being in the masculine role. And it just, how did they add 30 minutes? And the screenplay, the writing was so bad. Like they did
Yeah.
not develop any fucking characters.
We're going in right for the throat tonight, aren't we? We're really
Dude,
Right?
the more I think
Am I
about this
wrong?
movie, I hate
wanna
it
start
more
on
and
some
more.
Positive notes, guys. Come on, give me something. Give me
No.
something.
No, no.
It was pretty to look at, I guess. Sometimes.
Sometimes
Yeah.
the CGI was sometimes good, and then sometimes the worst CGI I'd
Yeah.
seen
So
in a
weird.
$200 million budget movie. It was so fucking weird.
Yeah, worst CGI I've seen since 2006, man. This shit was like the opening scene where she's running on the roof and like jumping off of the little stick and shit. And I was just like, I feel the wires. Like I just feel everything is so
Yeah.
unorganic, you know?
Yep.
the only good thing about that scene is that it's like foreshadowing for the end. But I agree on the
Yeah.
whole. The CGI felt weird.
Mhm.
It in the Wikipedia it says like somebody says like the budget is actually probably like 280 to 300 million, but they're reporting 200 million. Like maybe there's reasons for that. I don't know.
Which fun fact, the highest budget for a movie for a female director. So
Yeah.
that's
Ever?
ever.
Holy
yeah.
shit.
Wow.
Yeah. So pretty
Lot.
I don't
interesting.
know what
I mean,
that says about.
yeah,
Like,
I mean, I think
Where
it's
did they
I think
spend
it's
it
only
on?
Disney.
Actually,
yeah, I don't know.
I read that a lot of it went to the sets. The sets ended up being a lot larger than they had anticipated.
Dude, that little city they
Hmm.
live in or whatever, that like circular like town,
Yeah.
it looked like the
I'm
whole thing
betting
was
that
real. It
might
looked
be some of
cool.
it.
I thought.
It was.
I
It
don't
felt
know,
small, but it was cool.
It felt like a set, though, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like a little enclosed
felt
thing.
small.
I felt like there was
like a
nothing
big
around it.
thing. Yeah, it was just like, I don't know. You guys didn't see the movie, the original movie, so like where they live feels like more like of a home, kind of
It's a
like
town, like a town.
and then this just feels weird. Just
I guess
feels so
that's a good way to think about the movie as a whole. Like they're trying to tell, which I didn't actually realize Mulan was based on like an old like Chinese tale,
Mhm.
but they're
Yeah.
trying to tell this story with so much history and all that shit, but
Mhm.
in like such a tight space, and every scene feels like it's in such a tight space. Like
It
there's not
it
more than 50 feet in any direction of
Yeah.
Yeah.
anything. The whole movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like now that I'm thinking about it, even when they're like traveling through that like battle, the town where the last battalion has been killed, it feels like a small hallway in a video game that you're just passing through, you
Yeah,
know?
it feels like
And
a
then they just like
room.
exactly, and they look at the bodies, they look at they zoom in on the characters, and then it's on to the next thing.
Yeah.
Dude, that moment
Yeah.
in the original had so much weight behind it, and this time it was just like, oh, like I
Yeah.
guess these people
Oh, where
died.
they see the
Is that the one where they're singing about a woman they can fight for or something, and then
I
all of
think
a
so,
sudden
and
it
they
just switches?
yeah, dude.
Like they're
I
like
don't know.
the crazy thing about hate it or not, the music actually gives so much character development than any of this other new movie. Like they're like all like they're all like singing like about fighting for a woman, and all of a sudden it just stops and they're in
Yeah.
like a fucking decimated town. And you're just like, oh fuck, this is kind of dark for like a kids movie. It gets
Yeah.
kind of dark.
Yeah,
But in this
dude.
one, it just doesn't feel. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it's like
I feel
usually I'm
like
not a fan of the musical elements of these old Disney movies, but like this movie fucking hit so well. Like they're singing the whole time, and then once they get to that part, the song abruptly stops. They see all this death, and like, oh my god, we have to be fucking adults now. Like this is real
Yeah.
shit.
In the
And there's
original,
and then
just to
there's
be
no
clear.
music after
Yeah.
that. Like at that point, they're like, all right, fuck, this is real. We can't do all this
yeah,
other
Yeah.
shit. Like it's fucking crazy, man.
I felt like they were trying to get there with this movie. Like it was trying to be like a war movie kind of thing, but I don't know. It just fell flat. Like you know, and right after I watched it, I was like, that wasn't that bad. And now that we're like talking about it, I'm like, Jesus, I hate this movie. Like
Yeah. No, I
it,
felt the same way.
Yeah, right
and
when
the
it
thing
ended,
with
I felt okay, and the more I think about it, I'm like, oh god.
Mhm.
Yeah. And it
the
was
thing,
just imagine watching it the original right after it. It was just like, holy fuck, this is hard. This is really hard.
That would make me feel even less about this, like for sure. If I had watched it right after, and I did kind of intend to, but didn't happen.
Mhm.
the thing that I've noticed with Disney live action remakes is like maybe with the exception of Aladdin, all of the characters don't really feel that important or like different outside of like Mulan and like maybe her dad
Right.
in this movie, right? The same way that like it was very hard to tell the difference between Scar and Mufasa and Lion King.
Mhm.
Aladdin has like obvious like physical traits that differentiate people, but even those are not good. Like Jafar's casting was really bad.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. You know, stick to animation. You know, stay in your
Right.
lane. Disney.
Well, and that's the thing, and like it almost feels like it's the difference between a movie and a book, where the difference between live action and animated is huge. Like first of like the characters are obviously animated, but also like figuratively they're just animated. They're very exaggerated versions of themselves. Like
Yeah.
I just remember the characters in the original Mulan, like there's the big fat guy who's like sensitive, and then there's the like stocky like
The
staunch,
short guy.
manly guy, and like there's the skinny guy. Like you just know all of the characters so distinctly, and
Yeah.
in this they're all blended, and it's just like who I don't really know. I can't distinguish between really any of the characters, like you're saying, Jay. And I
Right.
think
Because
it's like, yeah, like you said, stay in your lane.
they rely so much on appearance, right? And like animated, the word animated is literally also means like exaggerated and shit, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and so they rely so heavily on that in their, you know, like OG movies and shit that like when it comes to the live action aspect, if you don't have the development of the character, you're just not gonna know. Like it was so
Mhm.
hard to differentiate. The only character that like felt different from the rest of their like crew or battalion or whatever was the one who like you thought he got shot by all the arrows in that little hall Like
Right,
Yeah,
he
that
has
was-
the baby face.
yeah.
He's like
yeah,
the baby
he had like a
face guy.
baby face. He felt like this kind of young lost dude, and that was really it. Like that was there was
Mhm.
that guy and Mulan, and then other people were also there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And one of them loved her, and I can't remember which one it was.
Yeah, and who's he supposed to be? Like that was another confusing part.
Yeah.
Is like the person who was leading the battalion, wasn't he different in the original?
Yeah,
Wasn't
they
that like the
basically
love
split
interest?
that character into two people in this movie. Like
Yeah.
one is
Yeah.
fucking
Which I thought was fine because I don't know. I'm just I don't really care. I don't even care for that in the original story. Like
Sure.
Mulan like going after Shang
I
or
love
whatever.
interest.
Yeah, I don't care for the love interest. If we're gonna go balls deep in wokeness and we want women empowerment, like why at the end of the movie are we gonna show her running off with like a man? Like doesn't make any sense. Even though she doesn't really
didn't,
run off with
right?
a man.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
invites him over for dinner, but I'm just like, I don't really care for all that shit. Take it out. And
I
that
feel like
was
it-
one of the good things.
that just
that
added
they-
so much more weight though. Like once she got like revealed and stuff, it's like
Yeah,
I
but
don't
he
know.
was Shang was a piece of shit to her the entire movie because he was a man, and then and he never got her respect. But once she was a woman, all of a sudden it changes.
Are you
Kind
talking
of.
about the new one?
That's
I'm talking about the
yeah.
old one. I'm talking about the old
Okay.
one. Sorry.
Yeah, we need to be more clear about that because I was like, he wasn't really in the.
I
the
just
new
felt
one.
like he got competitive in the new one, and then he realized, or she reveals, and he was just like, "Oh, cool." I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. They. I don't really think they.
Well,
They
they,
didn't do a
yeah, I
good
mean,
job of that.
in the newer one, they did the foreshadowing where it was just like he's like, "Oh, I just don't know how to talk to women." She's like, "Oh, talk to him like you're talking to me." You know, that whole thing
Yeah.
was just like, obviously they're gonna fall in love. But I don't know. I guess I'm glad that they didn't go completely into it and they just kind of hinted around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it on one hand, I gotta say that like it must be a little bit difficult to like remake a movie that everybody already knows the story to. Like
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't really like what are you gonna do? You're gonna just completely come out of left field with something, or you're gonna like match it exactly, or you're gonna do a shitty job. I don't know. There's
Yeah.
really like in my mind, there's 3 lanes there.
But like the weird thing about this movie is that there was very vocal problems with the original movie from mostly Chinese watchers. They thought that Mushu was just a caricature of their culture, and they thought it was quite disrespectful. And so I could honestly see them being upset about Mushu and taking Mushu out. Disney
that, yeah.
could have totally corrected all the things that they supposedly did bad. I don't really think that those were bad things. It's an American movie, right? I mean, it's about a Chinese story, but it was for Americans back then. But now this is this like new movie for Chinese people, and they want it to. They failed. They took out Mushu because they thought it was too much of a caricature, and then they added this chi shit, this fucking Jedi mind trick
I
bullshit,
fucking hate it.
and it even made it even worse. I think that's even more disrespectful to the Chinese culture,
Yeah.
and it's just fucking sad.
They're like,
Just
we
to
need trying to make it
clarify-
more grounded, and they're like, but we're gonna add
Yeah.
this superpower thing. I'm like, what?
Yeah, let's make it
What?
more real, more grounded. And then you have
Yeah.
fucking all these camera spins like we're watching fucking Wayne.
Matrix.
No, no. We're watching Running Scared again.
Oh.
Excuse me. We're watching
Yeah.
Running Scared with all the fucking crazy camera twists, and I'm just like, what are we doing?
Yeah, I think, but to be clear, I think that Disney was after that Chinese money in the late 90s too. Like this wasn't just a movie for Americans. Maybe they just
Yeah, but I
they
think
missed the
even
mark
more
with-
so now.
Yeah, more
Yeah.
so now for
Yeah.
sure.
That's the weird thing is I saw someone talking about it on Twitter. I don't know if it's fucking 100% true, but they were saying that the original one got like in the Chinese market got ratings of like almost an 8, like less than an 8, but almost an 8. And this new one was like around a 4. They fucking hate this movie, dude. This
Really?
new one.
Yeah.
So I'm
That's
like,
what happens when
There's-
you go after things with the wrong fucking motives, dude.
yeah, they're trying to
Yeah.
please too many fucking people, and they just
Yeah, they are,
fail in
yeah.
every aspect.
That's something that I saw too, is like they're like you said, they're trying to like, okay, how do we make a movie that America's gonna love, but also like that Chinese money? Like there's just
Yeah.
it's like there's so many
Yeah.
people that the film industry's huge there. So
Yeah.
how do
Yeah.
we balance that? And it's another thing between just China. I mean, like we can't beat around the bush. This movie has a lot of controversy with it about even just the main actors. Like,
Mhm.
what's the main Liu Yafei? She is like been under a lot of fire for showing support to like the Chinese police, you know, and police brutality kind of thing. So I saw that even there was like this there was this thing in 2019. It was like this where they were gonna like show a sneak peek, and like she didn't even go, like she didn't even make an appearance because of how much scrutiny she was under
Oh my god.
for it. And it's just like, what? So
Yeah.
there's so much that they're playing with. They're playing with fire. They're trying to please everyone, and it's not working at all. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hard position to be put into. Like, you know, they don't fuck around over there. Like, if
Oh, yeah.
you are like vocally opposed and in a position of power, like they'll just kill you.
Say
It's
bye to
not
your
even-
family.
It's
Yeah.
weird.
That's why I even wonder if she believes that stuff, or if she just had to say that, or the movie would just bomb in China or something. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
Yeah,
true.
how would
too.
anybody know? Like,
And that's like the
totally
thing
possible.
about outrage culture. They want her to be a proponent and speak out. And then when she does it and then she disappears off the face of the planet, who's going to remember her? Nobody, right?
yeah,
And
and
then-
then the
I don't
movie
know.
bombs and her career's over. It's like, oh, well,
Yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah. Was it worth it?
Yeah, I guess that's a tough position to be in. I mean, but Disney was under a lot of pressure of like not whitewashing this movie. Like they were like, okay, you can't put Brad Pitt as the as like the main or
Eddie
what the
Murphy.
fuck? Yeah, like you can't just have these like really white American characters playing these roles. I mean, they did like interviews or they tried to cast. Are they? What is it called when you cast? When you like get a bunch of people together to find a role? The fuck is that called?
Casting call.
Casting call.
Casting call. With like 1,000 fucking Chinese actors. So I mean, they were on it, and the cast was pretty. Jet Li's in it. That's fucking cool. I didn't even realize until after.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
either. Did you guys notice? Did it feel like his lines were dubbed over or something?
A
Everything
lot of them
about
felt that way.
Jet Li
The reason why
specifically.
it feels that way is because he takes the cake for the fucking worst actor I've seen in a long fucking time.
Really?
Really. Congratulations, Jet Li.
Who was he?
He
He
was
was
the
the
emperor.
The
Emperor.
Emperor.
Oh,
He was fucking terrible. Terrible.
I didn't even realize. I
Every
saw
time he
his
said
name and
anything, I
then-
was like,
the acting was bad. It wasn't
Yeah.
good. Like even in, like I don't know, the performances I don't think were great.
Even like the two generals, Donnie Cheng and the other dude, they were like trying to talk like this, and it was weird. And I was like, what the fuck? Just chill, bro. Just
I
fucking.
was worried about Leo Yafe's Batman voice that she was gonna have to do for a man. It wasn't
Oh,
that bad.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Uh,
It was okay. It was passable. I mean, because again, it's just like when you're watching the original Mulan, you're just like, yeah, she's gonna talk really burly, and it's just like, yeah, there's a cartoon. It works. It works.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Did it work here? A little bit.
I'm not even sure I
Yeah.
noticed her voice change. Honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll throw in a positive here.
No, let's do it,
I'll
please.
switch
This
it
has
up.
actually been too much negative
I
fire.
liked the scene where they would have gotten down to business in the original, where they're all like fighting and like doing all the spear shit, and then her and Shang battle or whatever. That was pretty cool. It was like a
Oh.
little bit Star Warsy and shit like that, but it was like a really cool fight scene, I thought.
Dude, yeah. So bringing up Star Wars, I was getting a little rub of Star Wars throughout, like
Dude,
the Empire, like and like a lot of the music kind of had this like Imperial March type of vibe to it. Was anyone else
Especially,
feeling
yeah, I
that?
felt that, especially just because Donnie Chen was in it. It's like,
Yeah. You know he's in Star Wars.
Oh,
right?
okay.
yeah, what is the line in Star Wars? The chi,
Uh,
I am one with the chi is with me.
Yeah,
Instead of
exactly.
the
Oh,
Force.
right, yeah.
That's all I kept
No, isn't it
thinking,
the
and I
Force?
hated it. No, I know,
Oh, the
but for
Force
this
was-
movie, it was the chi.
Yeah.
Feel the force.
After you said that, I was like, oh, okay.
But yeah, like even the fighting felt way too fantastical, as if it was Star Wars or something. I didn't
Yeah.
like it at all.
Yeah.
That's and that's the problem that I ran into. So the director, Niki Caro, like didn't want to have the original, or like obviously not the original, but didn't want to redo the original music because she felt like it would take away from like the live actioniness of and the seriousness of this, like being more of a war movie. But also like the fighting was like just over the top, and it was
Cartoonish.
so unreal. So it was like, what side of the fence are you on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're making the fighting really cartoony, but you're gonna try to leave out other stuff because you're afraid that it's gonna be too cartoony.
Meanwhile,
I don't
people
know.
are running up walls and shit.
Right, and
Oh, I
the
know.
camera's flipping all over the place. Yeah.
I was like, so the like the evil woman. Who is that? Is that new?
Only.
to
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
new.
Okay,
Alright.
She's
that's what I thought.
the hawk.
So
like,
from what
or
I
the
know is
falcon.
that there's like a million different like little versions of the Mulan story. So this actually does take pieces from different interpretations of that
Hmm.
poem, whatever or whatever it is, song. Yeah.
Is she
So-
in that?
I think she was in one version of it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that
Which-
was interesting. I mean,
Yeah,
okay,
to
if you're
say-
trying to say that you're trying to make it real and you open the movie with that, it was like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But to try to throw another little positive thing, I did actually enjoy her character and like how they added, because in the original it's just the Falcon, right? Like it doesn't shapeshift or anything. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
a Falcon.
Yeah.
So it was super cool to kind of see that, come to life. And I don't know, I wanted her to be. That's what sucks, is like even the bad characters in this movie aren't bad. Like she fucking died for Mulan at the end, and it was like, man, I wanted to see like a cool ass fight scene between them, which maybe like was too expected, and I don't know, wouldn't have been great. But
Her whole character felt so fucking weird where she was just like, I'm this all powerful badass bitch and I don't answer to nobody. But then she just like bows to homie. It just doesn't make any fucking sense,
she's
guys.
trying to be accepted, and she's trying to like follow a ruler who is going to create a world in which she, as a witch or whatever, is accepted. I get it.
Which is another fucking huge cop out that they have this whole extra storyline of how they have to be like, oh, nobody wants me because of my chi, but like it's really they're trying to say it's because they're women, right? Why don't they just fucking say that they're women? That's where this movie fucking fails, guys. Like,
Yeah.
they like I said, they could have went balls deep in wokeness, but why did they have to fucking sugarcoat it? Because I think in China and in a lot of Asian countries, we still have a lot of problem with like representation for women, even all around the fucking world.
Patriarchy.
And,
Yeah.
and China isn't ready to see women, powerful women, and they fucking were sugarcoating that shit. It was so fucking stupid.
That's what's
Yeah.
so weird, man. The original movie fucking nails that shit so hard. Like she's just so like a woman, and she works hard to get the strength to do all this shit to like protect her family and all this stuff. And in this one, it's like, no, she's just badass, automatically born badass. There's
Yeah.
nowhere to go. You can't go up from this. Like she's already amazing.
It's like maybe she's born with it. Maybe it's
Maybe it's her. Yeah.
maybe it's
chi.
made with chi. No, okay.
Yeah.
Oh man.
That makes a lot of sense, and now I think I like it even less.
Like I just felt that. Like I'm like, what are they're really like trying to play this thing? They can't let this woman just be a woman. They have to create this entire other plot line.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right in that they're trying to just
Insulting. Insulting
China.
people. Yeah.
Like and China has a lot more strict like censorship restrictions and shit like that. Like they could easily just say, nah, you can't fucking show that shit here. Like, okay, for example, World of Warcraft, the game, has an entirely separate fucking version for China.
Yeah.
Because they can't show skeletons and bones
Show
and shit.
bones. Yeah.
So like the undead, the race, the undead, they're like basically a zombie, half human, half skeletons, don't have any bones in the Chinese version. And like so much of the game revolves around like these undead characters.
At least
They're
it's
cool, but
not-
separated. A lot of shit doesn't. They don't do that. Like
Yeah.
I appreciate
Yeah.
them for doing that. I think.
I mean, it's Blizzard,
well,
we-
true.
well,
You need to go down
Money,
that
man.
hole.
That's the thing. That's the
Yeah,
compromise.
man.
Is like where do you balance Chinese money with like actually like values, right? And
Yeah.
Yeah.
which is an issue that's going to keep coming up. Huh, boy. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Let's take it back a little bit more to the acting. I think Leo Yaffe. I don't know how I'm gonna butcher that name, but
Mulan.
Mulan. I
Mulan's actress.
I feel like she did about as good as like I was expecting and like what I wanted as out of that role. But like James was mentioning earlier, every single male character, I was like, this is weird. Like this is just not how people talk. This is I
Yeah.
think it was just an issue with the screenplay and just with the writing of like how the characters interacted with each other. Because there was like stuff to enjoy about the movie. Like it was fun to look at, and like some of the fight scenes, I think a little bit cartoony but entertaining. And once you kind of let that take you a little bit, you can enjoy it.
Yeah.
But the writing, I couldn't get past. Couldn't get past it, how they delivered the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was the interesting thing, at least when I was looking at the Wikipedia, which I'm also trying to do again right now. The names, right? There's like obviously Asian names almost surrounding the entirety of the movie, except for the screenplay,
Screenplay is
I
very
noticed that.
much not Asian. Yeah.
which is weird.
Well, and the
Like,
director, Niki Caro, she's New Zealand. She's a New Zealander.
is she? Because they
Yeah.
did do stuff in New Zealand too, right? Like that was
But
like
yeah, it was shot in New Zealand and Western China, I believe.
yeah,
Or
that just seems like the wrong thing to do.
Yeah.
You're trying to gear this towards like, you know, I mean, essentially like this Chinese audience,
Yeah.
but the director is not Chinese and the people who are writing the thing are not Chinese.
Yeah, they had approached a couple of other people. I think one was Taiwanese, and then another one I want to say was Chinese, but that it just ultimately it fell through, and they went with her.
That's
But
probably why it feels so out of touch from like even, characters communicating with each other because they're like maybe they did some like half-ass research into the culture of that and just like tried to make it for both. Again, here we go again, splitting the fucking difference between the Chinese audience and the American audience. Like when
Yeah.
you do shit like that, you're half-assing two things and it's just gonna suck instead of whole-assing one thing, right?
Yeah.
yeah, isn't that a Ron Swanson quote?
Yeah, exactly.
The whole ass one thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I guess it's like the broader audience that I'm not thinking of that they're thinking of, but it's like there's so many times where, especially Japanese like games or media, like movies and stuff, Korean movies even, like Parasite for example, like it'll transcend those things without trying to make it Americanized. You know what I mean? Like it'll still work. Like if it's good,
And
people will
it's not
still like it.
specifically Korean either, right? Like
Yeah,
it's just a fucking crazy ass movie.
Well, and there's a thing about Americans that like a lot about I think what makes us American is enjoying other cultures too. So when we watch a movie, like for me, when I watch Parasite, I'm like, oh, this is a little bit of a sneak peek into like this Korean culture, right? Or like I get to kind of take a peek behind the curtain and like experience something other than what the norm is.
Yeah.
And it's done well, and it's not done in like this pandering way. Um,
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
feel like in Parasite specifically, if you know more about Korean culture, the movie just has more things for you to like see.
yeah.
But if you don't lose any, you don't really
There's
lose
still a
anything.
universal story there, right?
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
And I feel like in this case, I mean, they are like trying to make something that doesn't exist, but like not in a good way. Like this, half in, half out type of thing. It just doesn't feel natural for anybody because it's not. Like it's not how people talk to each other.
Yeah.
And even like saying I've watched Korean movies to get a glimpse into Korean culture, like even that is like, if you watch an American movie, like you probably think that like all of America is fucking like crazy
Yeah.
fucking explosions and cowboys and shit like that. Like it's all exaggerated.
Are we not?
Are we not? Yeah, I know, Jesus. But yeah, it's like it's you can still tell, right? Like especially in Parasite, and maybe Parasite's a good example because you kind of get both ends of, the like economic spectrum in that movie specifically. Like you see a really upper class side, you see a super poverty stricken side. And you
Mhm.
kind of feel like, even if it's exaggerated, this feels what I think life would be like.
And that's what's
Right.
missing from this movie is any sort of relatability. Like I can't
Right.
fucking do front flips like Mulan. Whatever
Can't
the
kick an
fuck,
arrow out of the air into someone.
can't kick an
Right.
arrow. Can't.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's where like the disconnect even is in the audience. Like there's nothing to
Yeah, there's nothing for Mulan to learn, so it's like, why should I care about this character?
going back to the fucking chi thing again. There's women out there. There ain't nobody. Oh well, okay. Maybe I'm gonna offend religions. Not a lot of people have chi or whatever that can fucking control kinds of crazy shit. You know,
Right.
it's not super relatable to everybody. But
Yeah, and it was weird that only the female characters, the two only notable
witches.
female characters are
They're
yeah,
witches.
are like also referred to as witches,
Yeah.
which is just like it's funny because the character in the fucking movie is trying to live in a world in which she's not seen as this outcast and this witch, but also they're writing her as that, and she's one of the main characters. Like her and Mulan are the only real main characters, and they both have this negative connotation about who they are as themselves. And it's yikes.
Yeah.
It's just yikes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's weird.
And they frame it not because they're women, but because
Right.
they're witches.
Right.
It's all over the fucking place, man. The more we talk about it, the lower my score is getting. It's
Yeah, me
dropping by the
too.
fucking minute.
Let's
over
find
here.
let's find some like cool thing, like other good things about this
Okay,
movie.
here's another positive. I'll throw this one out there. I did like a lot of the like women empowerment pieces that did shine through in relation to the father-daughter relationship. And that's probably only because I am the father of a
New
daughter.
father.
But like I notice that stuff more now, like in movies, and I thought that they did a good job of like showing that piece.
So were
And
you
even
like all choking up at the end when he was like,
oh yeah, dude.
"Daughter is honorable" or whatever?
Yeah, he was just like, no, I owe you an apology. Yeah.
Yeah.
When he like came to the realization, or that was a good scene. Like he owned it, he accepted it, and he was like grateful for it, and that was cool.
Yeah.
So I did, and I I don't know why, but for whatever reason I just get super emotional in movies anyway, even if they're really bad. And so
He
that
cried
was
like a baby.
I didn't sleep that night. I just laid there.
No, I agree. And like I get very emotional with movies too. And I think that they did do that well. Like again, obviously it's really unbelievable about like how this super traditional father figure who is like so wrapped up in his pride is just gonna overnight be like, nope, actually, I owe you an apology. I was wrong. That's unbelievable. But the way that they delivered it, I still was moved by it, just like I was in the original Mulan. And her decision, her making the decision to take her father's place, I think still did have a lot of weight to it. And I think it was done about as well as it was done in the original. Her knowing that she had to do that for her father. So
Yeah. I guess that was another thing that I thought was done well, was like creating the kind of tension where there's this scene where like she's getting older and she has to be matched soon and shit like that. And there's a scene with like the mom and the dad kind of passing by and looking at her from afar and being like, when are you gonna tell her, essentially.
mhm.
And that was like pretty brutal. Like how
Mhm.
I wouldn't have the ability to just be like, hello daughter, everything you want to do in life, nope, here's a husband,
Yeah.
Right.
go do that stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's so fucked up. It's so crazy.
I did like the Wes Anderson-esque matchmaking scene where they showed the overhead of the like teapots and
The
everything.
table of
Oh yeah.
and all
Oh.
the things appearing. That was a good shot.
Yeah, that was probably one of my favorite shots. I was trying to be very nice.
Taryn, how did you feel about so you watched the original right after the first one. How did you feel about the matchmaking scene? Like, we'll make a woman out of you or whatever, like, but compared to the new one?
It's so much better in the original, dude. Like,
Yeah.
just the song and then like that fucking cricket thing. That's with the thing with her.
Mhm.
Cricket is the catalyst to like all the chaos
Everything.
that happens. And like
So good.
this one is the random spider and her random sister that she doesn't have in the original. She doesn't have a little sister.
Yeah.
She has a
Yeah.
little brother who's her
Which, by the way, pissed me off so much because she moves the teapot to cover the spider, and then the matchmaker's like, "What did you do?" She couldn't just be like, "I'm sorry, there's a spider. My sister's deathly afraid of spiders. I'm just being courteous." Like, couldn't you just explain that? Can't you use your words? Like, and it turns into this giant fiasco of nonsense. That
There's no
again,
how
it was just
crazy-
bad writing. It was just bad writing. What? This doesn't happen. People would
Yeah.
just say that. They would say there was a fucking spider. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Taryn. But yeah, this is better than the original. I think that's where we're
Yeah.
at with it.
Most things, if not all things, were better. Because even like this stuff you're talking about with her dad and stuff, like it hit me way more in the original, I think. Because like in the original, they give Mulan the sword that belonged to like the main bad guy, whatever his name is, and the medal. She takes it back to her dad and she's like, "Look, I got this stuff, like as proof, like I did it or whatever." And then he just throws it on the floor and he's like, "I don't care about that stuff, like my daughter's home or whatever." Like it just, I don't know, it just hit so much more.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll have to watch the original then.
You should. It's
I
pretty
need
good.
to, yeah. I just remember like loving the original and just so much like loving the music in it. Like which the main I feel like the main thing I loved about the original Mulan was the music and the fact that this was just completely stripped away. And this
The song
was
slap, right?
heartbreaking.
I mean, okay, I'll say one more nice thing. You know, when they played Reflection, like the little melody with the,
That was
like it's nice. Like when we first saw the trailer I don't know when it was last year. Like I was like, oh fuck, this actually might be good. But boy, was I fucking wrong. Jesus Christ, I can't believe how fucking hoodwinked I was.
dude, like from yesterday, I think what's that? Wednesday? Yeah, I watched the movie yesterday.
Yeah.
I up into the point that I literally hit play and started watching it. I was like, I'm going to like this movie. I just like was going into it with very positive vibes. I remember watching the trailer, remembering the movie from the 90s and just being really into it. And I was so excited. I was like, this is gonna be a good Disney remake. I was fully confident with it. But after I watched it, and especially after this conversation, I was like, whoa, yeah, there couldn't be more wrong.
Dude, I was in the same boat. I was actually excited. I was like, "Oh, Jordan, let's watch it." Went over to their house. I got all cozy on the couch. And then just right away, when she lands on that fucking stick on the roof or whatever, I was like,
Yes!
all right.
Yes,
Was that like
was
3 minutes
exactly
into the
what-
movie? I was like, fuck,
Yeah,
man.
was she tasting the chicken? I was like, wait, why is this bad? Like,
Yeah.
this isn't supposed to be bad. No, please don't do this to me.
Like all the crazy acrobatics and magical shit. Like if they just took it out, this movie would be so much better, I think. Like that stuff just was so cheesy and it bugged
They
me, man.
needed to hard commit to it. Like it
I
was
was gonna
One
say,
way or
they
the
were on
other, yeah,
fence
sure.
on
Yeah,
it.
they
They were
needed
on
to
the
hard
fence on it.
commit. Yeah, like
If they would've
if
just went
they
all
wanted
in.
to do a weird kung fu movie, Mulan, like let's do
Okay,
it.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
commit to it. Just commit. That's all I'm asking. Like
Yeah.
they had fucking Jet Li and Donnie Chen. Did they even like show off their fucking skills? I don't remember.
I
Donnie
don't-
Chen a
I don't
little
think
bit?
so.
Why the fuck cast them so they could fucking say some
Recognizable
dead ass lines and
faces.
suck?
To put them on the cast list, dude.
Fucking
That's really
such
what
a
it was.
bad fucking choice. So bad.
Yeah.
Now I'm pissed again.
Yeah.
Got that positive shit out of the way.
Trying
Get
to
out of
find
positive. Let's get down to
redeeming
business,
qualities.
boys. I think we've said it all.
I think we have as well.
Yeah.
I think we have said what we need to say about this movie. Let's do it, boys. Let's wrap this one up. Let's get right into the ratings. Who wants to take this one away with their terrible ratings?
I'll fucking take it. Give it to me. Give it to
James,
me.
take the
Take
torch.
it.
Can
Okay.
you fumble? Can you fumble?
You fumble? You have to fumble. You have to.
You have to drink.
You
Wow.
have to fucking drink to finish this damn movie. No. I mean, it's fun to watch. Whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
just fucking put it on mute and then just like whoa, this shit's crazy. No.
Look at it.
This movie really begs the question: what does Disney see deep down inside in their reflection? Is it a fucking deep money hole of greed and fucking bottomless pit of fucking destruction for their live action movies? That's
Always
what you
has.
gotta think. Yeah. Congratulations to Jet Li again. Worst actor I've seen in a long time. In a long time. Anyways, this
Congratulations.
movie just like they just really fucking dropped the ball. Like if they were trying to do something positive in today's like atmosphere, they fucking missed the mark. This movie is just like a shallow shell of its former glory, and it's that bad, guys. It really is that bad. It is a 4.5. That bad.
Mm-hmm.
Wowzers.
All right, 4.5 coming out of James. I will take the floor next before I forget the trash I'm going to talk about. No, I think that, I mean, like we've talked about, this movie is trying, it's on the fence about, are we going to be a serious wartime movie, which I think they could have done really well. Like if they really, really committed to like, let's make this very serious, very like this somber wartime movie about this woman's struggle to like have, to create honor within her family. They could have really went that direction, but they didn't. They teetered towards being cartoony. A lot of the action, a lot of the fight scenes that were some of the better parts of the movie were against that. They were conflicting with that staying real, and they didn't know, this movie was lost. It didn't know where it wanted to be. And that was the same thing with the music direction. I mean, the music, you know, the director herself said she wants this to be more real and wants to have like this type of feel to it, but it was lost there too. So it didn't meet the mark on that. I think the things that I like about this movie were things that were similar about the original. They were like the feelings that I elicited from watching the original movie, which is her relationship with her father and how, you know, the complexities of that. It's just, that's the only thing that this movie had, was how it was similar to the original. I mean, the whole avalanche scene, what pissed me off so much, in the original they do it with like fireworks. It's this grand old thing. It's so well done. It's so fun to watch. And on this one, she just sneaks behind the lines and they throw a catapult at her, and that's it. Like, where's the story? Where's the buildup? It doesn't give you that. It leaves so much to be desired. And oh man, yeah, with all of that said, I'm like right there with James. This is a 4.3 for me. So yeah. Oh, can you fumble? I don't fucking care. I think if you want to, don't even watch it. I mean,
Honestly,
maybe.
save your fucking time.
Save your time.
Save your
Save
time.
$30
Don't even watch
on
it.
Disney Plus if you're going to be a fool to spend that.
Yeah,
If
if
you
you
want
really
to.
want to see it, just wait till it comes out for free
In
in
like
December.
2 months,
on
yeah.
Disney.
And then just put it on the background and go fucking take a shower and do everything else but watch it. Just who fucking cares?
Why even give him the view? Just delete your
Yeah.
Disney Plus. We're paying for that shit.
Who wants to take it over next?
I'll go for it so I don't forget. Shit,
Taryn, go for it.
I feel like, I wonder if I didn't watch the original, if this would have been not like good, but like better than I.
No, it would have been bad still. I did.
No, yeah, no. I mean, like just a little better, because like I said, everything that is from the original, like they just do it better in the original. The relationship between Mulan and her father, between her and what's her name? What's his name? Shang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Whatever. All the side characters are so good. Like the climax, the villains were so menacing in the original. Like this one, they're just dudes. It felt like.
Yeah.
And the random other witch lady, I don't know, man. All the stuff they added was really just bad, I think. All the stuff they ripped away, like the music, all the good like character building with Mulan, like her working all like hard and stuff and getting through all these challenges, just like to save the whole fucking country, whatever the hell it is. I don't know, man. They fumbled every time they tried to do anything in the new one.
Ooh.
It feels like a movie made by a committee. Like no one wants to take a hard stance on anything. Like it's like, what's the
Yeah.
point of making this? What's the point of spending
There's
$200
like
million
5
on
writers
this
in
movie?
this movie.
Yeah, they took no risks, and it feels like everyone was just afraid to disagree, to say anything bad about what the other writer said.
Yeah, trying to please too many people at once, pleasing probably maybe not nobody, but mostly nobody. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm tired of talking shit about this movie. I'm gonna give it fuck. I don't know, man. 4.7. Yeah,
7?
sure.
Okay.
That
4.7. What'd you drink on this one?
I think what you said is what I think. So I don't care, dude. Whatever.
Who fucking cares? Don't even watch it.
If you have to watch it, yeah, drink.
Yeah. All right, Jay, floor's on you, buddy.
Yeah, I agree with the whole can you fumble? Who fucking cares, dude? I don't know. Do whatever you want. Doesn't really matter. It's hard to go last because everybody's already talked all the shit you can talk. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
I'm sure you're gonna get something.
We figured out
Yeah.
something.
Greedy.
You just get waist deep in shit for this movie. It's like too much work to do. You know?
Yeah.
Don't even want to. You know, it's like
Yeah.
it was disappointing. I mean, let's just get that out there. It was disappointing. There
Mhm.
was parts I liked. I did like, you know, the opening with like this crazy mystical woman. I was like, what the fuck is this? This could be cool. And then she just like wasn't in the whole rest of the movie until the very end. So I was like, okay, well, that was weird. And then it goes into like being real, but then she like jumps on a roof. And then you're like, what is this trying to be real? Is it trying to not be real? What is it trying to be? I don't even think it knows. I don't know if anybody really knows. I mean, I guess we all kind of know that it's just a big cash grab, right? Like, is that what we're settling on? Because that's what it feels like to me. Which is not out of the, you know, realm of Disney's fucking aim, right? Like that's
Fucking
kind of the name of their game now.
inclusion
And
bait.
if you don't think that Disney's not a fucking global superpower that is only out for cash, then you are literally smoking crack.
But they're
The
so
meth of the mouse.
wholesome. Come on.
Yeah, they're so wholesome, dude. Yeah. No, it was disappointing. I'm sure the original's good. Like I want to go back and watch it again. It's just been so long that I don't really remember much from it. But you know, that being said, there was things that I liked too. Like I guess I'm a sucker for the cooler, like action Star Warsy scenes.
They're fun. They're fun.
They're
Mhm.
fun. Yeah, they're fun. I don't think the movie as a whole is fun though, and I don't think I'd recommend watching it either, but there is fun parts that make it not awful. So that being said, for me, I'm again we're right there with Adrian on a 4.3.
4.3. All right, that brings us to a collective 4.45. So yeah, very mid fours.
We need like a reverse Hall of Fame, and then we need to decide what the cutoff is.
Man. I think a reverse Hall of Fame would make me like want to shit on movies more. Like I'd be like, okay,
The wall of shame.
yeah, the wall of shame would be great.
That could be fun.
Yeah, I don't know. There's not much else to say. We've said it all. It's disappointing. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah.
But to not end on such a negative note, we are the Film Fumblers. We try to release an episode every week, so you can find all of that over at filmfumblers.com. Be sure you're following us on Twitch, on Instagram, on Twitter. We have a Facebook page, all of that good stuff. Follow us there. We're going to be releasing another episode on Old Boy that is going to be released, or it's going to be live on this Saturday, the 12th. Yeah, catch our episodes, you know, midday during the week. We usually put them out and they are available anywhere podcasts are listened to and on YouTube. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. We appreciate it. Stick around for the after show. We're going to be hanging out for a minute if you're watching us live. So yeah, that pretty much sums it up for us. Thanks so much, guys. Have a great rest of your night. Cheers.
Cheers.
Deuce.
Bye.